first 3 starts this month, he was really strong. What do you see from him now?
His command. He's working with a lot of borderline pitches, as y'all probably saw, that didn't quite go his way. I think that turned a lot of counts around. But, the walks hurt him. He's up to over 50 pitches in the second inning. You knew it wasn't going to be a very long outing. It's frustrating. Stuff-wise, he's in pretty good shape.
Buck, you've talked before about kind of shortening the lows and keeping him on a good path. Is it just really about kind of his mechanics a lot and repeating his delivery? Is it a very fine margin for error?
Yeah, it's kind of been that way his whole career. You like it when it's in sync a lot, and it was very close to being that today. But, there's a big difference between 2-1 and 1-2 counts. It's a big difference in strike one, and he lets some counts. We haven't done a very good job lately of using some counts that are in our favor. You've seen some 0-2 and 1-2 walks. What do we walk, 5 guys today, something like that? You're not going to win many games with that.
You predicted that we were going to see a really good pitcher in Kluber, and you were right. What especially did you do?
A lot of cutters, a lot of late recognition cutters that we knew he was going to do, and then enough fastballs to make the cutter appear as a fastball a lot of times, and then mix in the breaking ball enough. Good mechanics, good command, and we're fortunate that there were some borderline calls that went against him too, because he was around the plate most of the day.
You alluded before the game about the roster moves, and they made the trade with Hundley official. What do you guys like about him?
I think he's traveling in the morning. I think he's going to be here by the time he got packed up and everything. The last flight wouldn't make it, but we plan on him being active tomorrow. So is that the question? Did I miss it?
Well, that's certainly helpful. But I mean, what is he?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. We get here, I'll sit down with him. We'll talk a little bit. We obviously done, a lot of work on him, like they've done on Troy, and Troy was did a lot of good things for us here. It's kind of tough, but partnering with someone you've been around that long, a good teammate, good friend to a lot of guys, but there was a need that him being wanted somewhere could potentially serve. We still hope that Matt doesn't mean anything where Matt's concerned. We still hope that next Wednesday's a 3-week mark. I was kidding Matt today. He comes off the DL day after tomorrow, so we got a shot. Of course not, but we'll see. I'm not going to, until we get through with some of the moves in the morning. We'll probably bring Gilmet back for Chris. We wish he and Jill good luck tomorrow morning, and then we have to make room for Hundley. We got to make sure he makes the flight and gets on the ground before you go all the way down that road. Obviously, we'll have to make room for him too. But how much he's going to catch and all that, I've got a pretty good idea going into it. But we won't make a decision about how we make room for him we'll make a decision, but until he's on the ground and here in uniform, see how he's feeling and how the travel went.
Without being without Matt, does it help to have more of a veteran guy?
Well, sure. Yeah, obviously, you guys are smart. You know that's it. You always got to prepare for what if. We think Caleb and Steve have done a capable job, and we like Brian Ward down below. He's having a good year, and Ullman's learning his trade. But to have a guy that they had a surplus there. I believe they were carrying 3 catchers, and Dan and their front office figured out a way to make it work in a lot of different areas. So we're fortunate to get it done, I hope.
Troy had been here quite a while, and he's one of those guys who was actually here when you got here, and you gave him his first real shot at the big leagues. Was it especially difficult?
Yeah, it's tough, but it's like I told him the good news and bad. The good news, you're going a great city in San Diego. You're leaving a great city, but good pitcher's ballpark in the National League. If you got to go somewhere other than Baltimore, San Diego. They have a need, and they like him just like we did, and we had a need that he helped us serve. But it's a little emotional, both of us. But it's just some tough goodbyes. You're never prepared for it, but it came together yesterday and this morning. So that's always a tough call in. You know, it's like I told him, it's not always goodbye. Sometimes it's see you later. You know, this game has a way of having pass across again. Now, he earned the right. You know, he came over to us from Houston in a trade before I got here, and we knew he had some physical issues when we acquired him that we thought we could resolve, and they have resolved. He's been a healthy guy except for stepping off the curb, I think. So, you know, they're going to get a good piece there, and we hope we do too. Hope it's one of those that works out for both of us.